Comp redondinha. A comp da G2 tá insana, chat. A odd já D2 tá 3.6. T1 tá 1.25. Alguém aqui apostou na G2? Eu acho a real muito boa, mas eu acho ela boa em nada. Não, a real é muito boa em iniciar, cara. Como assim boa em nada, cara? A Neo inicia bem pra caralho, mano. E o Q dela tira shield. Olha lá. Era isso que eu tinha medo, cara. A Tristana botar no cu da Kalista, tá ligado? Porque, tipo, a comp tá boa, tá ligado? Só que Kalista... É que, cara, Kalista é uma merda de herói, chat. Kalista é uma porra, cara. Tipo assim, se tem um ADC que eu acho um dos ADCs mais inúteis do jogo, se chama Kalista. Eu odeio Kalista, cara.
There's probably going to be a level 2 first blood. They waste no time. And they get it here for T1 bottom lane. Again, this bottom lane has been absolutely exceptional.
Uma Leona inicia melhor? É que você não sabe o que por que knockup é tão bom, tá ligado? Provavelmente você é low elo. Você não entende de LoL, cara.
There's no hesitation. The response from the T1 duo lane, they are not going to accept that aggression and immediately take them down.
Yeah, go for the first back as well. Gumish Carrier making sure that they spend that money. Couple of longswords picked up here by the Tristana to help push that lane even further into their favor. Jankos in the river though.
Spawn camping the crab.
Yeah, there we go. Carrier's going to spot it out. Knows that it just went down. Some pings go out to know exactly where Jankos is. Now Targamas with a bit of a roam towards the mid lane here at about 3.5 minutes. Not going to find too much because Caps is pushed in.
And with that Scryer's Bloom from Jankos, you know, he can make a pass through mid, but really his goal here is just to get to top crab, because when you Scryer's Bloom over...
Não sei, mano. Eu ainda acho que a comp da G2 é melhor, só que a bot lane já batatou, né? Aí perde um pouco de credibilidade, cara.
Krugs are also gone, so he's just done a full clear. You know he has done a full clear, so Jankos knows immediately my next goal after Scryer's Bloom him and taking into account the CS is to go to the top side of the map, which means T1 know that bottom side is left undefended for them, so they can make a hard push there. It's a good call from Owner. He canceled his recall, immediately went to push out here with the bottom lane to further extend this Gumayushi carry a lead.
Yep, bit of a plate gank there towards the bottom side of the map, making sure that they get one of those at least. Weren't really intending on diving or anything like that, but getting them off the wave is certainly going to be valuable.
É simples de entender isso, cara. Por exemplo, se você toma um stun, você pode usar cleanse. Se você toma um stun, você pode ter, tipo, tenacidade. Se você toma um stun, alguém pode usar um cadinho em você, tá ligado? Stun é uma coisa que é facilmente dá pra tirar de você, tá ligado? Knock up, knock side, knock down, knock pra trás, knock pra frente. Não, entendeu? Quando o seu personagem, tipo, é deslocado em alguma direção dentro do League of Legends, não tem counterplay, entendeu? Tipo assim, se o Lee Sin te quicar na parede, você vai ser quicado na parede, tá ligado?
Me too, and especially when used by some of the more aggressive supports that we have. Carry, of course, fitting into that bucket quite effectively.
Por isso que knock-up são os melhores heróis de iniciação do jogo, tem knock-up. Não é só knock-up, né? Tipo, é knock de qualquer lado, tá? Pra cima, pra baixo, pro lado, pro outro.
You know, their roams overall, but Keria has literally gone 0 times up to visit Zeus this tournament, which was pretty funny, and all of his roams have been towards mid lane, which was where we're going to focus. So both of them do have those options. With the early lead for the T1 bottom lane, they should be able to push in and get Keria more opportunities, more windows to go.
Por isso que Yasuo é broken. Quer dizer, Yasuo não é só broken por causa do knock-up dele, mas o knock-up dele deixa ele ser bem broken, sim.
More aggressive with his ultimate, looking for the pressure onto Faker. Meanwhile, Faker going to be looking at both side lanes, especially the bottom side though, because of the kill pressure there.
Definitely some gank setup sort of everywhere as well. Cannon pretty good at stopping champions, but Ornn not very good at being stopped, so not likely to be a...
He can in fact go unstoppable with the W there.
It's amazing that it's called that, because it is very accurate for what happens. Drake is going to be taken here.
O problema do Yasuo é que os status dele é muito baixo. Tipo, o Yasuo tem pouquíssima HP, né? O Yasuo, tipo, ele é um minion. O Yone, ele tem muito mais status que o Yasuo, tá ligado? O Yone escala bem melhor que o Yasuo, em questão de status. Mas com esse novo buff que vai vir aí de todos os heróis do jogo, nossa, Yasuo vai adorar isso, cara. Porque o Yasuo ele vai ganhar free status, né?
T1 are definitely going to want to try and stack those. Their bottom lane presence is so strong. Their lead on bottom side is so strong. They should be able to continue stacking them. But G2 are going to be the team looking for those mid-game big team fights to try and break their way back into this game. It has been difficult for teams to do that versus T1 though. When T1 gets these early leads.
Boa noite, galera. Você acha que vai a mudança dos próximos vai mudar o meta? Mano, vai no YouTube, escreve Gratis 150 ml. Meu último vídeo do YouTube, eu explico lá sobre o novo patch, tá? O que eu acho que vai acontecer. Dá uma olhada lá, cara. Aproveita e já deixa o like e comentário. Tem 10 minutos de vídeo.
Never letting your opposition play the game that they wanted to play. Then they don't get their camps in their jungle, and then they ultimately just lose in the end. But this is that was a story that we talk about in like 2015, 2013, 2016, when SKT were the peak of League of Legends. And we've seen that come back here with this T1 roster, especially this season. They haven't done a lot of losing, as it turns out. A bit of a stun there onto Caps in the mid lane, doesn't find his Tornado. Is possibly thinking about going in there, as Targamas and Jankos do have decent engage ranges, but not going to be able to.
And I think this interaction goes in the favor of T1. We are kind of highlighting the support roams towards mid. You know, G2 obviously want to try and pull off one of these combos, but Keria here with Faker and the dodge of Faker there is able.
Que horas o jogo começa? Começou agora, cara. Acabou de começar. A gente já está assistindo. Exclamação Riot, exclamação MSI. E clica no link aí.
Lane clearing duties here in mid lane. And Faker, again, remember, does have his Twisted Fate ultimate available for this Rift Herald, so this could be an explosive Rift Herald. All of T1 are here. G2 should cede this objective because Kallista's in bottom side, so they should make the call, hey, just keep pushing Flacket on bottom side, get some turret plate money in exchange for the Twisted Fate. But we see Twisted Fate roaming down there. Faker with his ultimate could try and protect those plates.
Yeah, in theory, I really like that G2 do give that one up. Of course, top pressure was in favor of Zeus as well.
Tem torcida? Não sei, cara. Pra quem vocês estão torcendo, chat? Eu não tô torcendo pra ninguém. Eu gosto dos dois times.
Faker just going to be tidying up this wave. Flacket going to be okay for now, especially with Targamas coming down.
I think that's a pretty fair price tag for Rift Herald. It still means that Rift Herald is going to give you more value for T1. But G2 getting one plate and the minion wave shoved in for themselves is at least something for Flacket down there on the bottom side.
Mas eu acho que a T1 ganha isso por causa do time. Não por causa da comp, eu acho que eles ganham por causa do time, tá ligado? Porque eles têm os melhores jogadores.
That's probably because T1 want them to be in a lot of these instances, and you can see that reflected in the gold for now. But as you mentioned, this is a slow burn early game for G2. They want to start these 5v5s relatively soon, though, because T1 are charging up as well.
And business as usual for both of these two teams up until this game has been just winning. You know, this is the clash of win streaks with G2's LEC lower bracket run, you know, going undefeated.
Não tem como, mano, é que a bot lane da T1 é diferenciada, tá ligado? Os caras são muito bons, cara. Tipo, o Keria, ele é de longe o melhor suporte do mundo. Tipo assim, de longe. Ninguém é páreo, ninguém nem chega perto dele, tá ligado? E o Gumayushi também é, cara, um dos melhores ADCs do mundo. Se bobear, o melhor, tá ligado? O melhor eu não acho, mas ele entra entre os melhores. Ele tá entre os top 5, tá ligado? Top 3, talvez.
The second call of the Forge Guard, and he's going to get the stun here onto Broken Blade, but not going to grab the kill. Broken Blade's just going to peace out, trade some ultimates here, but Broken Blade gets the flash, so actually it's a win for him.
I love it. He's just so calm about it, you know. Zeus is having to do all the dodge work up there, but Broken Blade takes his all in, and he gets a summoner spell for his ultimate. Huge win for him in the 1v1. Unfortunately, you know, it's during the lane swap where we just talked about bottom lane for T1 was taken, so they're going to swap Gumishi up there. He's hungry for plates. But that flash being down on Kennen is quite big if G2 are able to get their big wombo combo fight that they want, because Kennen is kind of one of the only big AoEs that T1 have on their side.
Caps, good sidestep there. Going to get away from Ono, who's just going to slink back into the enemy jungle. Targamas in the area alongside Jankos, but you can see T1 just trying to get as much vision down as possible. And yeah, protect Gumiushi is the tactic here. They've got so much vision towards this top side. G2 a little bit slower on the rotation. Will mean a couple of plates go over to Gumiushi. That's 7, I believe, that he has claimed so far.
And I think we'll just keep that counter going, Atlas.
Yeah, I think that might be necessary.
Write that down, take some notes.
All right,
on your little pad right there. He's got 2 more. The Demolition. He's got 2 more minutes to work with to try and mine more turret plate money. And with the rotation up to the top side there for T1, should be able to do it. Faker still has Twisted Fate Ultimate. He's just been kind of holding it this whole time.
Threatening with the desk.
Exactly. The threaten of God Faker here coming in.
That's a scary sentence.
I love.
Tá frio, né? Tá frio pra caralho, mano. Eu nem sei porque eu não tô dormindo. Tá 4 graus aqui. Eu já era pra eu estar na cama a mimir, cara. Não sei o que eu tô fazendo da minha vida, cara.
I got the chills. I definitely got the nerd chills when that one came through. Because it's true, he's been there for an extraordinarily long time. Never swapped teams and never stopped being extraordinarily good. As Gumiushi trying to get this second last plate. Targamas comes on in, but the crash down going to get Carrier away. And Rel pretty good at being able to at least escape these opportunities for the Rakan.
Yeah. Just the bodyguard here. Meanwhile, of course, you saw it on screen, but we should mention too, Dragon stacking stops by G2. That was their payment.
There's the Magnet Storm as we are just going to pull back in Targamas. He's going to go forward though. It's Faker with the gold card looking to lock down.
Olha lá, olha o que o Health tá fazendo, cara. Cara, a Hell é muito boa, tá ligado? Só que tem que saber jogar, né, mano? Então, esse jogo vai ser bot diff, não tem o que fazer, chat. Eu cantei a jogada, tá ligado? Tipo, foi exatamente o que eu falei na Champion Select, tá ligado? Que, tipo, a comp da G2 era insana, mas o que eu falei? Que a bot lane da T1 ia botar no cu da Kalista, lembra? É isso, cara. E é o que tá acontecendo isso, tá ligado? É uma bot diff do caralho, tá ligado? Os caras não conseguem fazer nada na lane e eles estão tomando a dianteira, criando as jogadas.
That pace is greatly accelerated. Here's the engage. Carry a huge engage there. But G2 had escaped, and Targamas goes back in as Faker arrives. And then Flacket's just caught in there with the gold cards. Kind of got baited in there for the extra aggression, you know, attacking a 2v3 scenario, even with a tower next to you. They immediately go down, and T1 stamping their name all over this game. Every member except for Carrier at the top of the gold ladder here for them. And that means these outer turrets, I feel like, don't have long to live.
Yeah, not long for the world. There is only 1 plate remaining towards that top side. That's 9 on the counter, Kobe. I am taking as many notes as possible.
I'm proud.
Yep, but no more are going to come down because it is, of course, 40 seconds past the plate.
Cara, eu acho que eu nunca joguei de Hell na minha vida, cara. Eu não tô lembrando um dia que eu peguei Hell, tá ligado? O que da Hell zera escudo, chat? Como funciona o Q da Hell? Ela aperta Q e zera o escudo do cara? Tipo, zerado? Tipo assim, tipo o ultimate do Blitz, zero o escudo. Tipo assim, some. Come. Caralho, o Hell é broken, mano. E mesmo assim eu me sinto...
Bom dia.
Bom dia. E canto. Muito obrigado pelo Prime. Bom dia. Caralho, o Hell é forte pra caralho, mano. Você pega a Hell contra um cara que tem muito shieldzão.
That's efficiency right there, baby. That's a jungler. That's a jungler's heart.
Oh dear. Well, he's going to reset the blue. Yeah. He's a top laner, right, Kobe? He's not dandy. You know,
what's this little red bar under them? Also, they were were some enemies getting close.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think
probably the bigger problem.
it was just the correct call to be like, yes, I cannot overstay and greed for this blue. So it does in fact get the Gromp, gets the extra money there. And again, SKT not gonna give any of these opportunities to G2 to make that comeback. Not gonna make any of these mistakes in over greeding for plays, even if it is just a blue buff there. So
they don't need to.
A lot of respect there from T1. And you were mentioning as well, one of the big differences so far, even at this tournament, is just the lack of mistakes from this team, not giving any openings, and so far remaining true against another one of these Pool 1 seeded teams here at MSI.
Mas como eu disse, ela é muito telegráfica. Sim, cara. Inclusive o Jean Slot, ele devia estar lá no lugar dessa Kalista, né, cara? Pra dar um pau aí no carry de Hell, cara. Porque você manja muito. Você sabe todas as counterplay contra Hell, né, cara? Essa Kalista horrível aí, cara.
Yeah, that we sometimes like to talk about when it comes to Tristan. This is that roadmap of the game that we kind of laid out earlier with the drafts and G2 coming up on the point where they want that big team fight. So they can get their big combo.
E aí, quando que a G2 vai, mano, tomar alguma iniciativa, tá ligado? Não adianta pegar essa comp de full iniciação aí e não criar nada, tá ligado? Eles têm que fazer alguma coisa, cara. Nice, boa movimentação deles no top, já mandaram 4 no top, vamos ver o que vai acontecer. Faker tá escondido na moita.
T1 will pick up the dragon in exchange for that objective there, and of course Faker has been rotated over with the Twisted Fate, who can cover even if they try and make a counterplay towards mid. So T1 continue on.
E é isso, cara.
Picked up for them and Caps.
Levaram 2 torres no top, 2 cabeçadas. T1 vai tentar responder com uma torre no bot ali. Ficou meio que elas por elas.
Maybe they can have their explosive fight they want.
Well, Destiny is going to come through here, of course. It's our featured matchup. 2 turrets now under the belt of Caps, and Faker going to be ulting his way up the top lane to get to more farm. Not going to see any big plays just yet, but it will happen in this game.
T1 continua assim, um de ouro na frente.
And the big macro plays though, Atlas, okay?
Yes,
you know,
exactly right.
Whenever you got your 2-for-1 objectives
the
or
macro
extra,
Destiny is like the most, LCK move you can make on the Twisted Fate.
An extra 30 seconds can mean the difference between life and death, Every minion wave is 30 seconds, so trying to get up there to the wave quicker so you can push, so you can get your recall off quicker, so you can rotate over. It does leave us in a scenario where T1 are leading in 2 turrets, as well as the extra dragon acquired for themselves, and most importantly, just space to work with. That's what those turrets come with. Yes, there's gold attached to those objectives, but a lot of space for them to spread the map. Because, as we've seen, they're very cautious against this G2 AoE Wombo Combo team comp. They don't want to give them one of those fights. They want to spread the map as much as possible and utilize that T1 side lane pressure to avoid G2 getting any sort of income here in the mid stages of the game. Meanwhile, there's Cap's got a couple of the parts that we're looking for there with the pickaxe and the long sword.
Not quite at the Infinity Edge yet though, so that power spike hasn't quite been achieved. And he's been denied a few of these side lanes as well. T1 have sort of been catching Caps, trying to get to some of that side lane farm, trying to deny the Yasuo from being that threat later in the game. It hasn't worked out so far because he's ahead in farm by just a little bit against Faker.
Puta build estranha do Kennen, né, mano? Faker 1v2 situation, TP no top, Faker usou um bom cronômetro. Chegou a Hell, iniciou a iniciação, carta de iniciação, Kennen ultou, meu Deus do céu, wombo combo alucinante. E o Yasuo deu cleanup? Não? Viego, bonecão do caralho. Meu Deus do céu, cara. Holy moly, cara. Ok, o Viego ficou grande agora, hein? Esse herói, cara, não faz sentido, né, mano? A passiva desse herói é muito idiota, cara. What the fuck? Cara, foi uma boa teamfight de AG2, cara. Eles mostraram o potencial da comp deles, tá ligado? Tipo, mano, é iniciar, grudar os caras no chão e aço, aperta Zorogodon, Zazak, tá ligado? A questão é que o Viego fez a boa, né? E o Viego agora cresceu no jogo, cara.
Very early on, the comms from T1 were, hey, come to me, we're gonna outplay this. Then the re-engage from G2 actually looked good. They got a big wombo set up. It barely couldn't finish the other two solo lanes there as it took them a little bit of extra time to finish them off, and that allowed Owner the last second. And look at these pickups, so close to dying.
Meu
Then
Deus,
Shieldbow
cara.
procs, gets to use the wind wall,
Cara, que boneco
pulls
filha
back
da
over.
puta, cara.
Flash used exceptionally well as well, and forces the flash out of Broken Blade there with the full chase, but really, really nicely done from him to save basically the play for T1 there. Then Keria going through with his wombo and Gumayushi, no hesitation on the rocket jump forward. Does result in Flackid getting the kill and...
Meu amor, bombaram!
This was off screen. I didn't get to see how it happened.
We were within a replay of a replay of a replay at that point in time,
my
but the
God.
Baron definitely MVP in that last play.
A descida solo Q.
Last team fight, 4.4k from Owner, and this is what happens. You get that first kill, and Viego can be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Owner
So-
definitely will.
But the double kill going over to
Eu ainda acho que dá pra G2 ganhar essa porra, hein, mano.
He is ready to hand out Ornn
Mas,
upgrades. So,
sei lá,
level
cara.
14 here, he can now also help upgrade Caps. Damage
Eu tô com medinho de apostar,
So
cara.
potential for this G2 AoE giant
7.0
fight
na
is still
G2,
there.
cara.
That last
Eles conseguem ganhar
fight
esse chat.
was by
Só que eu tô com
such
medinho,
small
tá ligado?
margins. One by Owner there, one by T1. So
Eu tô com
close
medinho,
there,
cara. Vou apostar não,
being
cara.
a swipe for G2. Here's the Twist of Fate ultimate, giving them some vision, but this is where you get to use the power of your strong engage and frontline as threat for G2. T1 though, you see them trying to focus on the minion wave.
Se eles conseguirem um wombo combo, eles conseguem ganhar, tá ligado? Só que, cara, é T1, cara. Os caras jogam muito bem, tá ligado? É muito arriscado, cara. Sim, vai ter muita zônia pra counterar, né? Se bem que o Kenny tá sem zone ainda, cara. É só o Faker que tá de zone.
G2 grouped up as 5, and this is what we want to see. We got a bit of a taste of how it could work, but wasn't quite it. Of course, T1 want to create space for Gumayushi, as Owner does take down that Drake.
Essa dança da morte tá atualizada porque tá ridículo. Dança da morte é um item ridículo e ele não devia nem ter... eu não sei porque eles voltaram dança da morte. Galera, olha lá, mano. Puta, eu devia ter colocado meu dinheiro, né? Fiquei com medinho, me fudi, cara. Ou não, o Viego fez o clean-up de novo? Não. Tristana pentakill. Meu amigo, a G2 vai virar essa porra. Eu devia ter colocado 20. O cara do chat falou pra eu botar 20. Eu devia ter colocado 20, cara. Agora já foi, cara. Quando eu falei que eu tava com medinho, o cara do chat falou, bota 20. Quem foi que falou bota 20, cara? Bota 20.
Zeus comes in with a big ultimate, but they've only got 3 players left, and G2 still, with the stopwatches, able to finish it out. You know, Zeus able to get a decent amount of AoE down there, but Gumayushi, eyes get a little big as Tristana when you see those giant, reset possibilities, but again, G2 always have so many extra knockups. They have them for the counter engage there. Zeus and Guma trying to pull out some hero plays at the end, but unable to do it, and G2 now, after they've gotten a taste, they want more.
Well, Caps now just tidying up some vision here, and G2 will be feeling so much better after that. They've claimed the kill lead 9 to 8 now in favor of them. Not quite the gold lead just yet, but it's only 3,000. That means basically nothing here at 26 minutes.
And after that lesson, T1, they want to go right back to the split pushing. Keep Faker getting that pressure for them on top side of the map, goes right up to the minion wave. They've got the ultimate available. He can pop it for vision. He can also relocate once the pressure gets close to them. So extra damage here on turrets means a lot for T1. There's the ultimate. They get the spread. All safety has been acquired for them as they start up this Baron.
Yep, Destiny's going to come through, used defensively here as Faker makes
Sumiu as apostas aqui da Highway.
Que?
1.9 na T1? 2.12? Meu Deus, eles perderam uma teamfight. Meu Deus, eu devia ter colocado 20 na G2. Eu sabia que a comp tava boa, cara. Não, eu devia ter colocado 20. Eu acho que agora já era, mano, porque a comp da G2, cara, eles são bons em iniciar, tá ligado? Qualquer um ali do time inicia. Inclusive até o ADC inicia, tá ligado? Então, como eles ficaram na frente agora, então agora vai ser muito fácil eles acharem uma brecha pra iniciar, tá ligado? Agora, acho que agora é... Agora G2 leva, eu acho.
T1, a little bit of hubris here, I feel like. Atlas,
yeah, a little bit too much.
To opt away from your win con of being able to spread the map and being able
Vou dar a Kalista? Mas a Kalista, ela tá aí só pra jogar alguém em alguém e eu e o Yasuo apertar R, tá ligado? O carry desse jogo é o Yasuo, não é a Kalista, tá ligado? A Kalista tá aí só pra, mano, fingir que faz alguma coisa. Then yeah, okay, go for it, but there was no follow-up damage there. And then even Jankos and Flakkid on the top side of that team fight were also doing enough damage to take down a couple T1 members. So G2 now with Baron. The thing they have to worry Não, a Kalista vai dar dano, vai dar auto-ataque e tal, mas o Yasuo que é a estrela, tá ligado?
Yeah, with how explosive G2's comp is as well, I just don't think that Ocean Soul is going to matter that much to G2 regardless, as they are going to be able to take their first inhibitor. It's a back coming through from Zeus. He knows that the pressure is on. G2 will just take this one. They can rotate back and grab this Drake if they'd like to, or just look for a little bit of a reset, but the Destiny is going to come down. Zeus cancelled the back, so they will be able to try and answer as far as these inhibitors are concerned, but it's just an inhibitor turret. Not going to have those super creeps making their way to the base of...
Cara, mais um Drake, eles conseguem pegar a alma do bagulho, hein?
That's going to keep the gold extremely even.
Recalls are being started for the extra members of G2 to come help with this defense, but it looks like Broken Blade's got it under control even with Faker hovering there, so it's just going to be a red buff taken away, and T1 losing a lot of that threat, of that advantage, because now with so much less area for G2 to get caught out, because there are less objectives, so they have less reason to spread out, they can stay in their strong and secure setup here with multiple members and just threaten these giant chains of knockups on T1 over and over and over again. And we have the extra gold lead for T1 to really put that extra threat on their split push.
Esse jogo tá da hora de assistir, hein, cara. Acho que foi o melhor jogo até agora. Jogo, tipo, full pegado, tá ligado? Tipo assim, mesmo um time estando atrás do jogo, criando jogada, trocando kill. O jogo foi um jogo legal, cara. Não foi aqueles jogos, tipo, do Brasil contra, sei lá, cara, RNG, tá ligado? Que os caras jogam, tipo, sei lá, 5 minutos de jogo bem e aí depois enfia o dedo no cu e gira, tá ligado? Os caras, tipo, mesmo estando atrás, eles estão criando jogada, trocando kill, jogando o que o time tem de forte.
And the takeover. Now, guess what? We've got level 16 caps with a stopwatch. 3 item power spike Yasuo with the Infinity Edge plus the survivability of the Shield Bow and Death Stance here, and a stopwatch usage means that they're confident to just bully right through, force on this tower.
Boa iniciação do Ornn, mas tava debaixo da torre, eles ficaram com medo de dar follow-up, né, cara? Jogando safe. Eles podiam ter tentado finalizar o jogo aí, tá ligado? Nessa cabeçada. Mas ia ser muito arriscado. Se eles perdem o jogo, eles iam... Se eles perdem essa teamfight, eles iam perder o jogo.
But as you can see, even with the Destiny here being used to try and see if there are any of those stragglers, it's not going to net them anything.
It's been so cool to track, you know, the rise of G2 throughout LEC playoffs and into MSI as Faker. Ooh, he's not done yet. Operation invade red area for very little gain.
Indeed. However, you know, he's not going to lose anything for it. He's just going to go back home. But the scouting mission definitely worked out. Owen Wilson went behind enemy lines and then managed to make it out safely. Sorry for spoiling the end of that movie.
Honestly, too, I was hoping there was going to be something done, like even a ward drop, so then we could talk about later. Oh, this Galaxy Brain, you know, 3 minutes in advance, this was placed here, but no remnants. There's no evidence that actually.
Que seria uma resposta boa pra essa compra da G2.
The only evidence is us talking about it. You know, it's like,
Jogar... Ah, mas é que a T1 jogou bem, né? Eles passaram bastante no Gold. Jogar com o TF, né, cara? Aproveitar o ultimate do TF. Eles conseguiram esnombalar o game. O problema é que a G2 jogou bem também, né, cara? Não tem muito o que fazer, cara. As duas comps são boas, tá ligado? Só que a da G2 é mais fácil de executar, cara.
Looks like they truly want to keep this undefeated streak going for themselves. Now with Baron coming up, it's very easy for them to just group up on it. They've got so much advanced vision up through the blue jungle here of T1, and Faker, since he was not able to get
esse jogo também, né, eles não tem nenhum cara que dá true damage pra matar o Warne, né? Não tem ninguém que bate bem em tanque aí. Não tem ninguém que dá true damage, ninguém que dá dano em HP, cara. Então esse Warne ele vai ficar bem duro, né? Vai ficar bem duro. A G2 apanhou bastante pro Drake. Pro Drake não, pro Barão. Ó, tá tudo quase meia vida. A G2 pode ter trollado a teamfight. Vamos ver o que vai acontecer, cara. É, não tem o que fazer. Acho que já era, mano. Oh! É, acabou. Acabou! Eu devia ter colocado meus 20, cara. Ninguém dá dano, tá ligado? O Kenny acertou o ultimate em 5 pessoas ali e, tipo, os caras saíram full HP, tá ligado? G2 members here as Faker looking to try and get out, but he's going to get knocked up instead. And Jankos is going to be gifted the kill there with the...
My goodness, G2, another big team fight for them. I actually got scared when I saw such an early smite. There was a smite around 1.8k even. And
sometimes you believe in Caps so much that you know that he's even going to be able to smite better than you without the
trust in
ability
the
to
crit
do so.
From the sword, maybe? I don't know. We'll have to take a look at the replay at how it actually went down.
Eu falei pra vocês que a G2, mano, tinha chance de ganhar da T1, ninguém acreditou em mim. Eu falei que a G2 consegue jogar no mesmo nível. Os caras são esforçados pra caralho, tá ligado? Calma que o jogo não acabou ainda, né? Não posso zicar, cara.
They've got a lot of gold to spend.
They do have a lot of gold to spend, and also I don't think there's too much of a rush, because when you've won the last 3 team fights in a row and it hasn't been close, you're probably happy to take a...
Como assim? Eu falei logo quando que a G2 ia ganhar? Não, mas eu falei que a G2 tem nível, tipo, bem antes desse jogo. Tipo, foi há dias atrás, tá ligado? Tipo, a gente tava conversando quem que ia pra final, tá ligado? E eu falei que a G2 tinha chance.
Zeus goes in, but gets exhausted.
Yeah, the exhaust was fantastic this time around.
So not going to be a big effect whenever you have that. The biggest counter there.
Yeah, now Zeus potentially in trouble, throws down the ulti here for himself. His owner's like, I'll try and help. No, I won't try and help, as he just gets himself the heck out of there, and I do not blame him. It is a very dead lightning mouse on the top side of the map, as G2 now bear on down on this inhibitor turret on the top lane.
The
and
only
Broken
hope,
Blade can tank it forever.
The only hope for a T1 is some crazy
Mas
so they're
a bot lane da T1 jogou muito bem esse jogo, né, cara? Nossa. Eles deram uma aula pra bot lane da G2, tá ligado? Os caras destruíram a bot lane.
Yep, they certainly can, especially with Yumushi still a little ways away. He's actually going to, yes, he does manage to complete the back as the first Nexus turret is going to go down. Into the backline goes Carrier, but immediately he just pops like a balloon. And Broken Blade seems completely unafraid of absolutely anything. Eventually he will back away, but happy to tank for as many days as you'd like him to. T1 do deal with the minions, but G2 still want more.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was a great opening to the game for T1, but G2 trust in their team fight all the way through, and now they're rewarded. 2 inhibitors down, huge.
O maluco buchitando o pique do Yasuo. Ok. Mas essa comp é comp de Yasuo, cara.
Towards any sort of these late game scenarios for them.
Back.
2 minutes, 13 seconds left on the
Dragon
Soul that will arrive, and it's Dragon Soul for either side.
Essa comp aí sem Yasuo não faz sentido.
Factor here though, as G2 have full map control, only have to deal with pushing mid wave, and super minions will take care of the other 2 for them. Then they just group up and repeat business as usual. It looks like they're exhausted.
Cara, é uma comp que tipo todo mundo no time tem knock-up. É muito difícil fazer uma comp dessa, tá ligado? É a comp perfeita pra jogar de Yasuo.
And even then, I mean, Zeus is a 0-5 cannon right now. It's not necessarily the most powerful that we've seen cannons, especially when they're wielded by Zeus here. Zeus
maybe if Guma comes in on a wrecking ball there and looking for those just on resets, try and use it on him.
That could also be very difficult, just because I feel like Caps has had his wind walls in exactly the right positions every single fight, and you only need that duration, right? Because G2, they get that first little advantage in the fight, and then they roll over the top of you with the amount of CC that they have.
And I just want to shout out Jankos, because, you know, he
Baniram a mina da tesoura? Boa pergunta, não lembro qual foram os picks em bans.
And the Diana being the sole AP, if he fails, if he flops, he is one of the players on this team that cannot afford to flop, you know, as sole AP. And you can see it when he does well like this, like massive damage being dealt by him every single time.
Well, now we've got Carrier going in one more time. The Magnus Storm not necessarily the
Ó, iniciação, pau, 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 pau. O cara não tem que fazer, cara. Essa companhia não pode ficar atrás não, mano. Os caras, mano, ergue quem eles quiserem, cara. Qualquer um levanta qualquer um, cara. Tipo, não tem o que fazer, mano. O Yasuo, ele ulta quem ele quiser, ele dá o follow, ele... Qualquer um do time dele joga, mano. Eles jogam pro ar quem eles quiserem, mano. É muito fácil jogar com essa comp. Nice, ótima comp. Jogaram fino, cara. Só que a bot lane tomou uma pavora, né? Os caras tomaram uma pavora no bot. Fuck, eu devia ter entrado naquele 7.0, mano. E eu falei, né, cara? Esse 7.0 tá apetitoso, cara. Eu falei, cara. Chat, eu falei, cara. Eu falei.